Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is Mick Tully for the World of Martial Arts Television, and today I'd like to welcome Mr. Matt Stait. How you doing, Matt?
Hi, Mick. Nice to talk to you at last. So it's great to finally catch up.
When I first found out about what your upcoming endeavour is all about, it got me because two reasons. First of all, it was a shift from what a usual martial arts expo is, and secondly, I think which you will appreciate, Matt, it harked back to the days where I used to do karate, where we'd go for a summer camp, where it was sleeping in the van or sleeping in a tent, getting up in the morning, training, the whole camaraderie and everything else, but you're doing it on a bigger scale. So can you tell me about this upcoming festival?
It's the Festival of Martial Arts is basically the title, so exactly what it says on the tin. The idea is to take a music festival vibe, of which I've been in and around many during the years working, all that sort of thing, and to bring that to the martial arts world, because as you rightly say, there's lots of conference style events, there's lots of expo style events, and I just felt that wouldn't it be great to take those summer camps of old that we used to do like that, bring that together and make that accessible for all types of styles and organizations. So essentially we want the vibe of a music festival. We want the fun of a camp without the 5 a.m. torture runs and that sort of thing. So, well, of course, that's if you fancy that, we can accommodate you, but it's not compulsory.
Is this open just for martial artists, or is it like newbies, or what who are you aiming at?
Well, first and foremost, we thought of this as an idea as a family-friendly environment because, so not to do anyone else down, but quite often when people talk about family-friendly, there's not really that actual much for the kids to do. And also the other criticism that I heard quite a lot was that for people that aren't actually training, again, there's really not that much for people to do. And so I thought, well, I want this to be a genuine family experience. I want people to be able to bring the family, whether they train or not. So, we've got fitness stuff going on. We've got activities going on. We've got music. We've got talks. We've got workshops. We've even got some absolutely crazy, strange Cossack medieval contraption, or it looks that way at least, that's supposed to be very, very good in a chiropractic manner for straightening out your aches and pains. We've even got one of those coming along. So there's basically, if you're training, fantastic, there's loads and loads to do. If you're not training, there's still all kinds of workshops in the marketplace and talks that you can get involved with, and the fitness things and everything, bushcraft, survival. We've got actual real medieval, not real medieval knights, obviously they'd be too old, but people that do that. And so you can try on the armor, have a go at that. We've got lots and lots of things for the kids to do. So if the kids aren't into martial arts, they can still have a great time. We're on a 7-acre wonderful site in Somerset that's enclosed, so they can run around barefoot, ignore the mobile phone for a weekend, and actually, indulge themselves in some outside activities, it's got to be a positive for everyone, isn't it? So essentially, yeah, there's lots and lots to do. If you're not into martial arts, that's fine. We'll all think you're weird, but that's okay. You're still welcome.
But you've hit on something there, because that's one of the things I've always had with my wife, because she's not into martial arts in any way, shape or form. And I've traveled all around the world, gone to all of these really cool countries, with like the MKG martial arts. And last year I was supposed to go to Hawaii. And this is when I realized that I was actually getting old, or maybe I was just getting actually a little bit compassionate and understanding about my wife, because I was going, I don't really want to go somewhere and spend 6 hours a day training in a hall, which will be in Hawaii, but I could be in like Tottenham, because I'm just inside training. And then my wife's like, well, if we go out to dinner, we're going to be talking about martial arts all night as well. And we're going to have to hang around with all your weird, sweaty. And it's bizarre, because you go there and it's nine times out of 10, it's partners who are like, well, yeah, I'm not into it either. So my wife's met a couple of my friends, and they're like the only reason they've got together is because they've got this shared, I don't want to say disdain, but this very, very grudging acceptance that they married a weirdo, and like they're 35 years in and he hasn't grown out of rolling around the floor in his pajamas with his mates. But it was really, really cool that you said that, because as you were saying it, like the old synapses were firing away, and I'm thinking it's almost limiting when you say it's a martial arts camp then, because it's so much more than that. Why did you see the gap in the market, or had you just gone to a couple of camps and think, well, I'd rather have this? Or where was the genesis of this camp?
Well, just before I answer that question, I'd also like to say that, because I forgot just a moment ago, that we're about 30 minutes away from Bath. So, if people really don't want to get involved, there's fantastic shopping opportunities, historic towns and all sorts to look at. So you can literally drop them off and go and explore the area. It's a wonderful part of the world. So I used to do summer camps with my club, and obviously I've been involved with summer camps through the years that other people had set up. And so it was always a relatively small affair for the club itself, and we'd have a great time. And the real power in that, it wasn't necessarily in the set sessions, because I'd always invited other instructors in. We'd always have multidiscipline stuff, because I'm a great believer in exposing my students to whatever we can find. I think that's a great thing to do. But the real power in it was actually the chats around the campfire, the impromptu mini training sessions where somebody would say something and somebody else would be like, oh, what about this idea? And then before you know what's going on, you've got these little enclaves of people all doing their own thing, having a great time. And that was sort of the impetus initially, because I thought, actually, what a great thing to be able to do. And then as we moved on, I was actually going to look at this event space for a single one-day event that was going to be much, much smaller. And I got there and it was just so incredible. It was a really awesome place. And so I thought for a moment, this would make a fantastic place for a festival that's been in my head for years and never really activated it. So I spoke to the owner and I said, well, what's the figure for all of it, the whole thing, for the entire weekend? What's it going to cost? He gave me a number. I had a little wobble. And then I thought, you know what? There's a reason for this. There's a reason why I'm here. I've come to this space. It's absolutely perfect. I can't now ignore fate, kismet, whatever you want to call it. I can't ignore the fact that it's been put in front of me. So, so I booked it and here we are.
So tell us, who's going, like, martial arts wise, styles, like who have you got coming up?
The list is just ever growing. We've got so much going on. So most arts, I can't say every art, because obviously there's way more than that, but all of the usual arts that you can think of. So all of the ones that that come to your that come front of center when you talk about those, but then there's all sorts of other things as well on top of that. I'm trying to think of the list now. There's things like Glimmer, which is the Viking martial arts. There's all kinds of Filipino martial arts of all different systems. We've got Bartistu with Tommy's coming to do some of that, 52 blocks, a lot of Kempo stuff going on. I've got a little list in front of me that I'm sort of that's kind of up there on the screen just out of just because it's there, not because I set that up on purpose. So there's a whole list of different things. I mentioned the knights earlier on, the full contact medieval people, which are bonkers and great all at the same time. So there's that as well. There's all kinds of grappling. We've got some really good quality BJJ coming, plus some catch, some really solid, historical figures. Lee will probably kill me for saying that. But people like Lee Hasdall, who's one of the absolute pioneers of the British MMA scene and paved the way for everyone to come, So there's a real good mix of all kinds of different people and all kinds of different styles. So again, I like to think that whatever your flavor of martial arts is, not only is there going to be something you can get involved with and enjoy that's familiar, but you can also have a go at something that's completely different and hopefully take something from it to bolt onto what you do. I mean, that's without being contentious or trying to be argumentative, because I really don't want to do that. But one of the things that I find challenging is if I go to a multidiscipline event and an instructor comes on the mats, does their bit, but then doesn't engage with anybody else or any of the other instructors, that sort of grinds my gears a little bit. So working really hard to make sure that that's not the case for the festival. I want one of the ethoses of what we're doing is that everybody's coming with an open mind, everyone's getting involved, and nobody is better than anyone else. And of course we can have differences, of course we can have conversations around that, but whatever it is you do, it doesn't hold all the answers. That's all there is to it.
As we spoke about this, it seems like it's going to be a more sort of organic experience. I know that makes me sound woo-woo, but where you're trying to create something where we're all going to come together. Like, do you actually think that the prolonged amount of time together is going to help, create that culture?
I certainly hope so. Yes, that was always the vision. The very first time that I sort of thought about this as an idea, it was always thought about as something that hopefully is going to become embedded on the landscape. So, excuse me. So if you think about Senai years ago, that was a big event. Lots of people went. Lots of people talk about it to this day. Even people that have never been to Senai, they talk about it. So I think I would love it if it became that, and that's certainly the intention. And we're doing everything we can to make that happen. I mean, what we really, really want is, when people say about during lockdown, if I can mention that, and people talked about missing those chats around the water cooler in the office. It's essentially that. It's that organic conversation. It's that ideas that are embryonic that people can just bounce off one another, and it's what I like to call the ant and deck effect. So, if you think about ant and deck and you think about them individually, let's be honest, they probably wouldn't be stars. But together, whatever that is, there's something that makes them more than the sum of their parts, and that's the magic. And that is exactly what I want the festival to do.
Well, you've hit on something there, because that is the symbiotic nature of martial arts. First of all, if you take kata out of the equation, every other martial art, you need to have at least one other human being with you. And again, as you were saying about lockdown, all we were talking about was, I don't know about you, but I taught a load of classes like remotely via Zoom. And I was quite lucky because all I did was teach Kali, and all we did was a load of Amras, load of real just one, training that you could do on your own. But it was really funny, as you mentioned, Seni, because it's something that's got me, and I would like your thoughts on this. For years, you had Seni. I don't know if we should mention it, but we had the combat show a couple of times, which the only good thing about that was I saw lots of disappointed faces coming out. Because I was like, where's George St. Pierre? He was on the poster. And I was like, come on, mate, it's a combat show. Who's never going to be here? More chance of Bruce Lee showing up for that one. But the thing that got me is after Seni, it dropped off. But more people do martial arts than watch UFC. But you can get a big exhibition about UFC. But then how did we lose the martial arts show thing, where people went to the NEC, they went to big venues, like, we went to the XL Center. I taught on all of those places. And I've thought for years, those people haven't disappeared. They just need someone to bring it all together. So was that in the back of your head that you knew that these people were still out there and needed to get together? Or did you just think like Field of Dreams time, if I build it, they will come?
Yeah, I'm forever being told by those around me that I tend to have these ridiculous ideas without thinking them through, and that's a fault and a blessing all at the same time. So there's very much an element of that, in the sense that, well, this is a great idea, without any thought process as to how the infrastructure of that is going to look, or the hard work involved, or all the things that come with it, right? No thought to that. But then secondly, obviously, there's the real problem that getting any kind of coherence in the martial arts world is like herding cats, and we all know, with I'm going to say it with a smile on my face because I don't mean it, but we all know that we as martial arts people, we can be quite egotistical, we can be a little bit pompous sometimes, and sometimes just a tad self-important. And so the first thing that needs to be done is we all need to sort of just accept the fact that we're all human. We all bring great skills to the table, and we've all got something to offer. And once we get to that point, well, then we can start having a conversation. And that's really where we're at with this. Is the idea is that, and it's working, by the way, surprisingly. The idea of this was that if I put out the concept of this and I make it really, really clear what I want the culture to be like, the right people will feel that and come towards, that energy, that vibration, however you want to call it, right? That will encourage the right people, and, to use a sales term, disqualify those that aren't going to be a good fit. And that actually seems to be doing its thing for the most part, which is great. We've got some fantastic people involved, and I hope that once we get the first one out of the way, because as with anything the first time, there's always those sort of watchers over the wall, we're just going to hang back and see what they do. So once we get this first one out of the way, I can't see any reason why this shouldn't just keep on growing and become more and more spectacular as it goes along. We've already had a number of really good people come forward and say, look, I can't do this, sure, I'm really sorry, but we really, really want to be involved next year. I can't go naming names, but some really big people, the kind of people that make you think, ooh, I've spent many, many years watching this person from afar, and here I am talking to them on the phone. Crazy.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. The line that you came out with is a really good line from my good friend John Will. John Will always says the same thing. He said, you have to be very careful. You have to, he goes, you create and curate the culture. And he goes, and then after about, like he says in jiu-jitsu, it normally takes maybe 2 to 3 months, right? So you don't have that in a festival. But he says 2 to 3 months, it becomes self-policing, self-regulating. And it's that thing where I really like what you said about the disqualifying, because you see it all the time in jiu-jitsu. You see it all the time, not just in jiu-jitsu. You see it all the time in martial arts, where you see guys walk in and you go, mate, yeah, square pegging around the whole time, mate. And you can see them going, yeah, but I'm a really good square pegging. Yeah, I've only got round holes here today, mate. Sorry, you're going to have to shave a few of those edges off. So now, Matt, to get involved in this, to be able to go there, what's the links? How do people get in contact with you?
Well, all the usual channels if they want to contact me. So Facebook and all the rest of it. Just put Matt Stait in, that's fine. If you want to go to the website itself, it's www.fomauk.com. So that's FOMA, Festival of Martial Arts, UK.com. And on there is a growing list of instructors, which we're putting up as quickly as we can. There's a lot of them. And obviously all the booking stuff. There's a lot of frequently asked questions there as well, which tells you about it. So it gives you a much better overview of the event itself. So there's lots of good stuff on there. There's the event page itself on Facebook as well. More than welcome to join onto that. You can ask any questions through there. So there's lots of ways to contact us ourselves. And again, it's one of those where, because this is a first time, because this is new, because this is an idea that's manifesting as we speak, it's ever changing. We actually really want that interaction, because we want to make it as good as we can for everybody that's involved. So the more people engage and the more people say, what they think would make it great, the better it is for us. And obviously, I haven't said it as yet, but it goes without saying, you are more than welcome at the festival, my friend. If you want to be involved in any way, of course, open invitation.
I would be honoured to.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'll teach whatever you want. I'll bring beer down with. We'll have a bit of a laugh. If Will Henshaw's mobile Might do some film. Well,
Sports Social Podcast Network.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.